Have you ever felt lost amid the storms of life? Have you ever felt too small and helpless in the face of difficulties? And have you ever, in the depths of despair, found a reason to rise, a light to guide you, even if it flickered faintly in the thick darkness? The story of Ethan, a 12-year-old boy struggling on the dusty streets, may make you reflect on humanity, resilience, and the hidden strength within each of us. Ethan grew up in a challenging environment, unlike other children. His mother passed away when he was very young, and his father left shortly after. With no family or home, Ethan got by day to day by begging and doing odd jobs at roadside shops. At night, he often slept under eaves or on park benches, using pieces of cardboard as blankets to ward off the cold. Despite the hardships, Ethan kept a kind and compassionate heart. One stormy night, when a torrential rainstorm fell, Ethan was huddling under the eaves of a closed shop. The heavy rain poured down, forming murky streams that washed away the trash on the street. Ethan curled up, trying to keep himself warm, waiting for the rain to stop so he could find a drier corner to sleep. But then, amid the pounding rain, he heard an unusual sound. A faint groaning came from a dark alley nearby. At first, Ethan hesitated, knowing that going into a deserted alley late at night was never a good idea. But then, his heart told him he couldn't just ignore it. He took slow, cautious steps into the alley, where the darkness seemed to swallow every footstep. In the dim glow of distant streetlights, Ethan saw an elderly man lying huddled on the wet ground. The man wore a thin, tattered coat and seemed to be trying to sit up but lacked the strength. His face was pale and grimaced in pain. "Sir, are you okay?" Ethan asked, his voice trembling with fear and concern. The old man opened his eyes weakly, his gaze cloudy and sorrowful. I fell. I can't get up," he replied in a weak, hoarse voice. Ethan didn't hesitate. Though he was small and weak himself, he mustered the strength to lift the old man and help him to a dry place. He guided him to sit under an eave where the rain couldn't reach them. The man leaned back against the wall, breathing heavily, his face relaxing but still bearing an exhausted expression. After a while, the old man recovered enough to talk with the boy. He asked, "Boy, what's your name?" "My name is Ethan," he replied, gently holding the man's hand to comfort him. The old man smiled, a faint but grateful smile. "Thank you, Ethan. It's been so long since anyone helped me like you have." Ethan could hear the loneliness in the old man's voice. Out of curiosity and empathy, he asked softly, "Don't you have any family to rely on?" The man went silent for a moment before slowly sharing his story. He once had a happy family, but misfortune struck. His beloved wife had passed, and his only son left without a word. Over time, he became alone, without a home or a place to return to. The old man's story tugged at Ethan's heart. He realized that while his own life was unstable, he was still young and had chances to change his fate. But the old man did not. He only had loneliness left in his final years. For a time, Ethan decided to stay and help the old man. He led him to a shelter under a bridge, where he could be safe from the rain and have a place to rest. At first, the man hesitated, not wanting to trouble the boy. But sensing Ethan's genuine kindness, he accepted the help. During the day, Ethan found food for them both, from bakeries or charitable food kitchens. Though their lives were tough, Ethan felt warmth in his heart, having the old man by his side. Sometimes, the old man would share with Ethan the lessons he'd learned from his life. He spoke about patience, kindness, and the true values of life that money could never buy. Ethan listened with respect and gratitude, feeling himself grow stronger and more mature through the man's stories. One day, while resting under the bridge, the old man told Ethan, "Ethan, you're young and you deserve a better life than this. You could go to school, find a stable job. Don't end up like me, with no one and nothing left." Ethan looked at him and replied with conviction, "Sir, I believe that no matter how hard life gets, as long as I have someone to love and someone who needs me, I'll never feel alone. You're already my family." The old man's eyes welled with tears at Ethan's sincerity and strength. He never thought that, in the last years of his life, he would find someone to care about him like this. He gently squeezed Ethan's hand, overwhelmed with gratitude he couldn't express in words. A few weeks later, the old man's health began to decline. Despite Ethan's best efforts, he couldn't stop the toll of old age and illness. One stormy night, the old man lay still under a thin blanket, his gaze fading, but still trying to look at Ethan one last time. "You've given me a reason to live, to not feel lonely in my final days. I now know that, despite life's hardships, when there is compassion, even the deepest pain feels lighter." Ethan, choking up, held the man's hand tightly, promising to remember all he had been taught. After the old man passed, Ethan was no longer a weak and aimless child. He was determined to live a life of kindness, helping others as he had once helped his friend. Though he still faced many challenges, the kindness and love of his old friend became the strength he needed to keep going. Ethan spent his time learning from charitable organizations and mentors. He did small jobs to earn money and continued helping other homeless people. He believed that if he could help just one more person, it was his way of honoring the kindness that had been shown to him. Life can be harsh, but kindness and sharing can help us find light in the darkness. The story of Ethan and the old man is not only about overcoming difficulties, but also a testament to the power of human compassion. When we open our hearts, when we dare to care, we not only help others, but also help ourselves to overcome our own silent struggles. If you find this story meaningful, please subscribe to our channel to help spread more touching and heartwarming stories. Thank you for staying and listening to the end of the story.